And so we have to really go for the jugular. We have to really understand that it's the money printing presses that we must take over. If there's any hope at all that we, the people, will get any relief from this debt that's been inflicted on us, intentionally inflicted, deliberately. They've stolen the wealth of our nation for generations to come. The only hope is to, again, go for the jugular, and that is the money printing presses. And who's controlling that? It's the Federal Reserve bankers and all their minions thereof. So if there's any hope, we've got to seize this. So military, law enforcement, understand. If you're tired of kicking people out of these homes and these foreclosures that the bankers have stolen, that put these liar loans on the people, knowing, I mean, look, you could say, well, the person, they knew they were lying about their income, and it's their fault as much as the bankers for tricking them. But no, okay, the people wouldn't have had to lie if they didn't create that air of, hey, get in now or you're never going to get in. Okay, jump on the bandwagon now. And yeah, the wheels are going to break, but hey, there's a chance. It's a roll of the dice, but you might be one of the lucky ones that survive this. If your house goes up in value real quick, then you could turn around and sell it. If not, hey, you know what? What do they say? No risk, no reward. And they created this atmosphere. Remember back in the early 2000s, 2003, 2004, they pulled out all the stops, and it was just, you get in now, or the rates are never going to be lower. Look at, they're a tenth of a percent lower today than yesterday. Now, refinance, right? Buy. Houses, you can never fail in real estate. It's always going to go up in value. And they damn well knew what they were doing when they overextended themselves and they gave these liar loans, knowing that many of these borrowers were lying about their income. Well, who you tell me who's more complicit? The person that was in the know or the person that wasn't in the know? And we've got to be in the know. We've got to get empowered and say, we understand how you people operate, and we're going to demand justice from our politicians. All these people are going to be rendered irrelevant. This is what we have to do. Okay, and like I said, I don't have a lot of faith in we the people to be able to do this without the help of divine intervention. There's no way we're going to fix it without divine intervention, because just another bloody revolution isn't going to fix it. That's what they're readying for. They think that's all they have to defend themselves from. But the ones that are really in on the know, they know there is this divine day of reckoning that's talked about it's in the Quran, the Muslims believe it, it's in the Bible, the Christians believe it, it's in what the Jews believe. I can't remember the term of their book right now, but they have their own belief about the return of the Messiah and justice being meted out on the earth. This day of reckoning, the great day of the Lord's wrath, and it's going to be this mighty event that people are preparing themselves for. They want to be prepared for. Decent human beings that value their conscience understand their conscience is to be exalted, and you want your conscience to grow and become refined perpetually. So one day at a time, you want to be a person of greater and greater conscience, not be told less and less that conscience is bad and you shouldn't be an ethical, moral person that's not pragmatic, that's impractical. It shows you lack common sense if you have a conscience. That's the thinking of the secular world that we're all being inculcated and trained, indoctrinated, and brainwashed, and just trained to believe that way. That's what they want. See, they want us to think the way they want us to think, which is very small-minded, much like a brute beast, where just do what we tell you. Don't question us. We're your masters. Yes, we own the world. Don't pay any attention to how we got that authority, whether it's legitimate or not. Just, pay homage to us. Pay deference to us. And just be beholden to us and you'll be all right. You pay your taxes. You go by the rules. And you'll be fine. You rub elbows with us. You team up with us. You can trust your master. And just as long as you go with the program and you don't worry about the homeless people dying out in the cold unnecessarily, even though we've got more surplus housing in America than ever before in history, you don't pay any attention. You don't get outraged. You don't get incensed. You don't get indignant and angry about that. You don't get frustrated and decide to take your frustration to the street, decide to speak up and wake other people up. No, you just shut up and go along with the program, right? Isn't that the way they're training us? Well, I'm not going to do it. And I don't care who likes it or doesn't like it. I'm just being true to myself. I'm just trying to be somebody in the eyes of my God, who I believe in. I believe I'm God's property. I'm his child. And that's a wonderful blessing, that he loves me as much as he loves anybody. And that he's a good God in all ways. There's nothing bad. Like a puppy dog. Imagine the face of a puppy dog. Do you want to hurt that puppy? Do you want to hurt God? Then seek out his face. Seek out that understanding of his nature and his goodness, about how he will, love the wicked, like the people that put Jesus up on a cross. Okay? And what did Jesus say? He reflected perfectly the nature of God when he said, "Forgive them, Father, because they don't know what they're doing." He knew they really didn't. Even though these people thought, "Yeah, I'm spitting in your face. Okay, I'm putting nails in your hands and feet. I'm pushing a spear in your side. I'm crowning with a spear of thorns. I'm mocking you. I'm pulling your beard out. I'm punching you in the face. Yes, I know what I'm doing. I'm evil. I hate the God that you believe in, because you're a blasphemer. You're nobody. You're calling yourself the Son of God, making yourself equal with God. And I'm the one that believes in God. So in my righteousness, see, these people believe that. And Jesus, you know what? They really do believe that they were the ones that were doing right in the sight of God, so he could forgive them. So that's the same spirit we have to embrace. Like it or not, that's the reality we all have to embrace. So we all have to, essentially, if you're fighting the good fight and you want justice to prevail on earth, and you want the captives to be set free, and you want the same things for your kids that every other parent out there wants for their kids, and that includes God Almighty, our divine parents, then you understand how you've got to approach the situation. You have to become like an Illuminati whisperer, elitist whisperer, and you have to get close to these people and rub elbows, and they hate that. They don't want to get close to any decent, righteous person, because they know it's as easy as this. You reach out, if you lose your cool, and in the heat of passion, like Moses did when he killed a guy, and you just strangle him. And you say, "I'm sorry, it was a crime of passion. This person said something I found so abhorrent, that I couldn't tolerate it. He blasphemed the name of the Most High by what he said, saying that he was more powerful than God, that he was God Almighty." Whatever it was that set you off as a decent human being, and you just, in your rage, without thinking, you instinctively killed that person, as did Moses, then they don't want to be around you. You see, so it's very important that we get in close and personal to these people, all these people. We got to get in close and personal to the Bill Clintons of the world, to the Bill Gates of the world, to the Warren Buffetts of the world, to the Rothschilds of the world, to the Obamas of the world, to the Dick Cheneys of the world, to the George Bushes of the world, and of course a plethora of other Illuminati world leaders that we often don't know by name, but we know they're in the shadows, and we know that these are the trillionaires whom we never hear anything about, and we want to wonder who's going to pay the price for this debt. Well, I say we make them pay. I say we negate this debt, because it is illegitimate. Just because Congress went along with it, what does that show you? That shows you their fear, their insecurity, their intimidation of these money masters. And if we don't go along with this program, well, you know what? That's our paycheck is at stake, because these people dole out the money. And if there's really no money to fund the government, that I'm part of the government. I'm part of one of those special interest groups that form that conglomerate, that monopoly of the establishment. And so that means my paycheck goes too. So these people love money more than God. They're so fearful, they're so insecure of not having the money, that they would do this thing. It's the same thing with this pilot that just committed genocide, essentially, mass murder, 150 people, including himself there. It crashed a plane into the mountains in the French Alps. And this is all about money, you see. This is the root of all evil. Jesus was by far and away, in my estimation, my research, my investigation, the wisest teacher to ever live. His teachings ring on today, just like he promised. He said, my teachings will never go away, and they don't. But money, the love thereof, okay, is the root of all the evil, all of it. This is how we're being duped. We have to understand, in order for us to be free, to be truly, really free, and for your children, your grandchildren to be free, we've got to get away from this concept of money. This whole idea that we need it, because we don't. In fact, there's not another creature on the face of the earth that has any use for it. And, we, as by far and away the most intelligent creatures on the face of the earth, we fall into it head over heels. We're all in a curse, okay? That's the way it is. All of humanity is under the curse of this money, and the only way to free ourselves is to render these people irrelevant. So that's really that's bottom line. Okay, so I can talk about sound currency and how that's the means to the end to get out of this thing. The end is to be totally free from money, to be free from what it represents, this concentrated wealth. Yes, I'm all for people having all the stuff they want. But let's talk about what is poverty and what is wealth. Because if we're going to take this to the existential definition, then true wealth would have to be something like is defined in the Bible, let's say, or any other religious teaching. That it's having a relationship with God Almighty. It's to have some solace in understanding that God is a good God and He loves us, and He's going to give you a good place if you're faithful and true. And just do very simple things. It's not hard to be God's friend and to win His favor. We can all relate to that because He's like our parents. He's eager to reward us. He wants us to have everything, to share His great wealth and bounty with us. So I'm all for everybody having everything they want. It might not mean that we can all own an F-15 fighter plane for joyriding, but it might mean that we could share it. A lot of things would be like that. I mean, who needs a 2,000-3,000 foot cruise ship? I mean, we don't need that. But we can sure understand sharing it. You understand that there's so much stuff right now that the regular man has already produced and created in terms of wealth of this nation, that we could all have plenty. We could all have a vacant dwelling wherever on the earth we wanted to go at any moment of any day. We could do that at any time. We could all drive any automobile we wanted any time of day. And right now, today, we don't have to manufacture a bunch more stuff. This is the reality we could have. We could all take a plane ride, okay? We can all have anything we want. So in terms of actual, literal, materialistic wealth, we could have plenty, all of us, all of us. And of course we would share because we're not going to be insecure. There's going to be no need to hoard if we realize that the whole society is like the library where it doesn't really matter. Everything is regenerating, so the wealth is always renewing. People serve one another because they have an instinct to serve. Okay, it's as simple as that. That's why it'll keep working. It'll keep working. People will keep doing their job. And anybody that says I'm wrong about that, prove it to me. And you'll have to reach zero unemployment in society in order for you to prove to me that what I'm saying isn't true. But once you reach zero unemployment, you get back to me and you show me that the society broke down and people got hedonistic and lazy and stopped wanting to go and work, okay? Because I will contend that it is a matter of feeling relevant, to not feel, it's a matter of conscience that a man will serve, okay? It's just the way it is. It's the way we were created. It's an instinct, if you will. And so you're not going to be able to ever prove to me what I'm saying isn't true. So understand the highest form of wealth that we need to understand, though, is proper values. And where do we derive proper values from? Well, let's again look to religion. Okay, let's look into things like ethical matters and moral issues. And, literally what you're doing is you're exploring the heart and mind of God. So what we want to do to develop right values is to look to the master. We've got literal teachings written down for us on paper that we can see. God doesn't hide, who he is from us. He wants us to know. He does what he does out in the open, like Jesus when he preached, and these people hated him, but he did everything he did out in the open. He never did it in secret. He wasn't clandestine. He wanted the truth to be known. He wanted the people to be empowered, to come out of confusion, to come out of